I'm getting into the position in front of my face right now.
Yeah, well, the elephant in the room is this, and that
elephant in the room.
Yeah, the elephant in the room
Wow.
is that.
Glad I'm alive.
Okay. Well, we have to deal with the elephant in the room, and the elephant in the
Pastor,
room.
I'm just be honest with you. Look, I'm not finna come up here and give y'all all my money that I make every month. I'm just sorry. I be fair.
Well, we're not looking for you to give
I put $20 a week. Yeah. And then sometimes I feel good. I have
$20 a week is like giving a dollar.
Can I say something? Is that your 10% of your earnings?
That's my business. That's what it is. You get your 10%. You get your 10%.
I wrote it down what you made.
Look here.
I wrote it what you made.
She wrote what you make, and see, it does not reach.
Well, I just see. I got to just find me. I'm not finna let y'all attack me.
Well, we're not.
I know robbery, strong arm.
Let me
you ain't finna rob me, and I'm agree to it.
Well, let's talk about robbery. In the book of Malachi, it talks about, will a man rob God? He said, "Yea, ye have robbed me in your tithe and offerings." That's where you rob. That's where robbery happens.
Man, let me tell you something. I really don't even believe in the 10%. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I think that was man-made. You feel me? Because back then, when they came up with 10%, ain't nobody had jobs. So where the money come up with 10% at?
Who told you folk didn't have jobs?
What job was? Everybody paying everybody with apples and oranges and bananas.
They had jobs. They had livestock. They had
what black folks you know had livestock?
Don't have to be black.
They had a half a pig with one leg.
Don't have to be black folk, but black folks had livestock all throughout.
The ones that had sense.
You got to pay them.
You probably had it.
You gonna have to pay them.
I didn't have it.
Let me share this. Let me share this with you because I'm not gonna go back and forth with you about
and I'm not neither.
Some money, because the church is well taken care of before you came. We're trying to allow you to be blessed, because the blessings of the Lord, according to you,
giving my money away, Pastor, ain't gonna bless me.
Okay. You're not giving it away. You're doing what God say do with it. You're not giving it away.
You got a chair and a desk in here too?
I don't need nothing to tell you the truth.
Let me share with you what happens normally when people don't tithe. When people don't tithe, normally they'll end up being sick. They'll take it to the doctor. They'll take it to the dentist. And
that's why I tithe.
Because God is going to eventually get his.
That's why I tithe.
Yeah.
I think
give it to him. He's going to get it some way. Somewhere. Car breakdown. Hospital. Child.
Well, I bought the car from you.
Well, is it still up?
Yeah, it's still up.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, it shouldn't break down. I bought it from you. You the one sold me the car.
You had to put a
y'all is a part of all my life. Y'all know that, right?
Yeah, you had to buy new tire for that car. Quit lying now. You had to buy new tire for that car, and you had to buy part
I ain't
for
talking
that car.
about that, Melissa. Stay out of grown man. But you shouldn't even be in here talking about my money. No way.
Your money is our money. I
see.
I put that money there for you and
now,
me.
Now, the part with me grabbing the collection box, I'm sorry, but some had went in there that belongs to me. And it took everything in me not to go in that box.
So what you're saying, you just want it changed.
Exactly. And everybody walking around acting like there's no change to be given. So, I just...
What?
I wanted my change. Yes, I wasn't finna put no whole $100 and I ain't got but $100 left.
Tell Minister Charles about change in this church.
We don't give change back.
I know it. Y'all look like y'all don't get change.
I talked to you about that Sunday before last. We don't get change. When you stick it in that box,
I didn't stick it in there.
Well, when your wife stuck it in there.
Well, that ain't my hand.
And let me.
And I feel like I got robbed. I started calling the police.
Let me bring some up right now, Brother Terry. That's my sister. Don't be talking to her like that. I don't refuse. I hate that. I've been listening at you talk to her all type of ways. Don't do that no more. You gonna have to speak to me personal.
That's his sister.
See, folks don't pay that stuff you do at the house. You come to the God house.
At the house.
No, that's his sister.
I must be sitting here. It must be look like I'm sitting here doing jumping jacks or something.
Well,
ain't no curring me. What you saying to me? That's your sister, but this is my wife, and I'm the man of mine. I pay the bills and mine. I hate we having this conversation in church, but you brought it to my attention. You need to let me know when you pull up next time at my house.
When money go in that box, I put that money there for you.
You not need to say nothing else today.
Hey,
to me,
Terry. Now I'm not gonna listen at that no more.
Cause you done gave these folk my check stub.
Hold on.
That's my brother.
Don't
You
do that
don't
no
talk to my
more.
brother like that
Please
now.
don't do that.
Y'all
no
look
more.
alike too.
Yeah, we do. We supposed to. We family.
You'll
I
catch
don't-
it later on.
Later on. I see we need to speak to each other on a personal thing.
Yeah.
Because, see,
Yeah. With white beaters on.
Shabbat Shalom. First and foremost, Ka Allah Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. That's all honor and glory and praise to the Most High and His only begotten Son. Double honors to elders and apostles and bishops that labor daily, edifying the church, giving us this truth. Blessings and salutations to a hopeful elect, and those to scattered that are scattered abroad that look like other nations. Blessings and salutations to the sincere followers in this truth. Shalom to you. This is your brother, Harv-n-Diana Zakar, and I just want to do a quick little lesson based off this video that we saw, because we have to fight for the truth, and I would say that there's a wide gate right now that don't follow a lot of statutes and commandments. They're saying those are done away with, but if you say you're in the truth, we have to prove that, right? So let's get that real fast. All right. Now, what is the truth? Psalms 119 and 142, the righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is thy truth. So that's one thing that we have to go by, right? So speaking of law, you have some, I'm going to say, that's what I'll use now. American congregations out there that saying the law is done away with, and what they do is take the book of Malachi, chapter 3 and verse 8. And let me read it out. And this, for the sake of edification, this is New Living Translation. And it reads, should people cheat God, yet you have cheated me. So what they do is use that, for the purpose of tithes and offerings, right? But here's one thing that you have to consider. Why go back to the Old Testament and choose Allah, that pertains to your financial gain or any type of gain, but dismiss the rest? That's one thing we have to consider. And when they were, when Malachi was saying this, he was talking, to the Levites. It didn't mean, for everybody to give what they had, their shekels of silver or whatever have you, to the Levites. And we're going to prove that. Now, there's a difference between, how you say that, alms and tithes. Okay, and giving alms is perfectly fine, supporting the ministry, whatever, right? But you can't pass that plate around, demanding that you want 10% of people's income, because you're saying that, well, I'm not speaking to those that are in this truth, that are sincere, but I'm going to talk about those that, are using this for their own personal gain, saying that you have to donate 10% of what your income is to the church, but the pastor got like a nice suit and, a Benz or whatever, right? And it's not to take anything off of anybody in this truth, because some of us, are set up different from others, where we work, we grind, we provide, right? But let's just break this down real fast, and first of all, who was Malachi? Malachi, he's pretty much a messenger of the Most High. That's what the name Malachi means. So let me see if I get that real fast. Slakia. Oh, here goes. All right. Here we go. So, if you see under Zechariah, you see the name Malachi. I'll try to zoom in a little bit more. And it reads Malachi. And it says, my messenger. That's what it means, right? So let me get back to where I was. So he's giving a message, from the Most High God. And to understand Malachi 3 and 8, you have to read everything. So let's break this down. This Malachi chapter 3, verse 1, and it reads, look, I am sending my messenger, and he will prepare the way before me. then the Lord you are seeking will suddenly come to his temple. And we had the Levites on the scene at this time. My messenger of the covenant, whom you look for so eagerly, is surely coming, says the Lord of heaven's armies. But who will abide to endure it when it comes? Who will be able to stand and face him when he appears? For he will be like a blazing fire that refines metal, or like strong soap that bleaches clothes. He will sit like a refiner of silver, burning away the dross, and he will purify the Levites. Okay, so right now we know, the Levites are on the scene. The Levites were the ones that were in charge of doing things in the temple ever since the days of David, right? Like he would have them do the sacrifices in the temple, right? Moses was, I believe, a Levite, and Salakia, the order of Aaron and the priesthood, right? We had the Levitical priesthood established back then, with the how you say it, the Salakia, the Umin and the Thummim, when they forgive me if I'm not saying it right, but when they consulted with the stones from the Most High God to make decisions, the Levites were in charge of that with the ephod, and those are just some things to consider, but it reads right here, Salakia, verse 3, he will sit like a refiner of silver, burning away the dross. He will purify the Levites, refining them like gold and silver, so they may once again offer acceptable sacrifices to the Lord. So right here we're establishing, the Levites and the sacrifices to the Lord. Verse 4, then once more the Lord will accept the offerings brought to him by the people of Judah and Jerusalem, as he did in the past. Verse 5, at that time I will put you on trial. I'm eager to witness against all the sorcerers and adulterers and liars. All right, so that judgment is coming to those who commit iniquity. I will speak against those who cheat employees of their wages, who oppress widows and orphans, who deprive the foreigners living among you for justice. For these people do not fear me, saith the Lord of heaven's armies. Okay, so, prosperity trickles downhill. How do you provide livestock or, first fruits if you're being robbed, right? Verse 6, I am the Lord, and I do not change. So that's Old Testament, that's New Testament, that's Apocrypha, everything all the way around, from beginning to end and in between. That is why you, descendants of Jacob, are not already destroyed. Ever since the days of your ancestors, you have scorned my decrees and failed to obey them. Now return to me, and I will return to you, saith the Lord of heaven's armies. But you ask, how can we return to what have never gone away? And then it reads right here, the key point. Should you people cheat God, yet you have cheated me? But you ask, what do you mean? When do we ever cheat you? So this is what, in that video they're going off of, picking this scripture. Should you people cheat Yahweh, yet you have cheated me? So they use that to the church for the offering plate. And all of us, we all know this already, but, how do we prove that they're picking or cherry picking the scriptures? You have to pretty much just read the whole thing. All right, so let me go a little further. Verse 9, you are under a curse, for your whole nation has been cheating me. Verse 10, bring all the tithes into the storehouse, so there will be enough food in my temple. If you do, saith the Lord's heaven's armies, I will open the windows of heaven for you. I will pour out a blessing so great you won't have enough room to take it in. Put me to the test. So it says right here, bring all the tithes into a storehouse. So that was your livestock, your cattle, your first fruits, et cetera, et cetera. You can't, and they say, you can't pay the light bill with the goat, whatever, right? But those are alms. You have to have, the faith that the Most High is going to provide. And if it's going to be, significant, then that's just the way he chose to bless you, not to extort and demand, that somebody gives 10% of their earnings, because, it wasn't a profitable business. It was for the survival of and the support of the Levites, because that was their lot. They weren't given land, and this is what this is talking about. We have to know what the difference between alms and tithes, because you can't cherry pick a scripture and make it law and apply it to you, right? Just like, let me give you an example. Okay. You could eat pork, you could eat whatever you want. That's what they say, right? But let me ask you this, if an American Christian's watching this video, is it okay to be a homosexual? In your heart, it's not okay. You see everything that's going on. You see it's widespread, like a disease just spreading like an epidemic, and if you know that it's not okay to do that, then why do you eat pork? You see, why do you exalt one law and forget the other? If you follow one law, you got to follow them all to the best of your ability, and just same thing right here with Malachi chapter 3, verse 8, when you're talking about you rob me, that has to do with the Levites, because it says in verse 10, the key point, bring the tithes into the storehouse. You don't bring money into the storehouse. And this isn't talking about a bank, because this is talking about the support of the Levites, and in this ministry, if the Most High chooses you and you're fruitful, he's going to multiply that, he's going to help you. He's going to bless you, but it wasn't set up for us to get a 501(c)(3) tax break to have, 100,000 followers giving 20 or 10% of their income, to help everything grow and spread, because it don't work like that. At the end of the day, the Most High is going to wake up his elect using us in this ministry, but not one sole giant group. You understand what I'm saying? So this is talking about the Levites, and we could precept that off of Deuteronomy chapter 18, and we'll go 1 through 5, and it reads, the priests, the Levites, and all the tribe of Levi shall have no part. You know what? Let me get NLT. All right. It reads, gifts for the priests and Levites. Remember that the Levitical priests, that is the whole of the tribe of Levi, will receive no allotment of land among the other tribes in Israel. All right. So that's what they did. They traveled, and you had duties being a young man, being a Levite, that were hard, setting up camp, traveling, when you're an elder, you couldn't do that. It was a job of a young man to do that. And it reads, instead, the priests and Levites will eat from the special gifts given to the Lord, for that is their share. All right. So this is a precept to Malachi chapter 3, verse 8. Those it says you rob me, you're robbing from the Levites, because it says that the special gifts given to the Lord, for that is their share. That's how they survived. Verse 2, they will have no land of their own among the Israelites. All right. And that's the reason why, Malachi 3 and 8, it goes so hard about that, because, people were robbing from the Levites. That was their lot allocated by the Most High God. The Lord himself is their special possession, just as he promised them. These are the parts of the priests may claim as their share from the cattle, the sheep, the goats, and the people bring as offerings the shoulder, the cheeks, the stomach. You must also give to the priest the first share of grain, the new wine, the olive oil, and the wool at shearing time. For the Lord your God chose the tribe of Levi out of all the tribes to minister in the Lord's name forever. Suppose a Levite chooses to move from his town in Israel, wherever he is living, to the place the Lord chooses for worship, that Salakia, verse 7, he may minister there in the name of the Lord his God, just like all his fellow Levites who are serving to the Lord there. He may eat his share of sacrifices and offerings, even if he receives support from his family. So that was the whole purpose of the tithes and the offerings, right? So let me just explain something real fast. Verse 5, for the Lord your God chooses the tribe of Levi out of your tribes to minister in the Lord's name forever. All right. So at that time, that's what it said. It said forever. Okay. And you have to know in Hebrews, order of Melchizedek, that the priesthood was done away with, because ultimately Yahushua is the high priest, the king, the savior, the Messiah, so all you have to do is just read and study to understand all this. You can't have somebody say that they're Levite today and demand, things, or say that they're the head over everybody, because, we know the order of Malach Chazedek, the king of righteousness, Melchizedek in the book of Hebrews, that says Yahushua is a high priest, but however, from Malachi chapter 3 and 8, you have to read before it and after it, and it's talking about the Levites, it's talking about offerings. So the brother in that video, he felt played, and actually he was right, and another thing to consider too, when you can't be a brother or in a congregation or whatever, just like, these phonies, we're stepping up and saying, hey, don't talk to her like that. That's my sister. You know what? Your wife is your possession. There's an order in the house, and that starts from the Most High God. That's the Yahushua, to the man, to the woman. His wife is his possession. That was out of line. A brother can't say to a man, hey, don't talk to her like that. If a man's getting physical and beating his wife, that's out of order. If a man is out of order, there's a way to do that, but by coming to the congregation and the elders, and two witnesses coming to that man and bringing him his fault, which the scriptures talk about, so him being played like that, he was being played. His wife had no right to go behind his back, to the church, and speak like, oh, he's not giving enough, because actually he was in the right, because, that it had to do, Malachi 3 and 8, with tithes and offerings of the Levites. What you want to give out of your heart is alms, as we should give alms, but it's up to you and what you want to give. And if the Most High sees you being fruitful in the work, he's going to bless you. He's going to bless you abundantly, but there has to be a line drawn between a business and somebody just starting up a church, trying to get followers and demanding their tithes. There has to be a line drawn. You need to see through the Spirit who's going to bless you, who sees you fruitful, because believe me, when the Most High is dealing with you, that's automatically going to come. So before I close this out, let me just get this out real fast. Let's go to 1 Corinthians and, got back the brother up real fast, because, it was a kind of funny video, but you know what? There was some things going on in there that we got to address. Now, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 11, and it reads, be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ. And it says, now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember in all things and keep the ordinances that I delivered them to you. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is man, and the head of Christ is Yahweh. So there's an order right here. That man is the head of his woman. Now, it didn't say the elder, it didn't say the brother, it didn't say the congregation. There's an order right here. It's the Most High God, Yahushua, the man and his wife. So those, I'm not going to be disrespectful, but those guys were going off. You can't get in somebody's business and say, hey, don't talk to her like that, whatever, right? And that's why, it's not like the brother was playing, but he said, you meet me in my house, or like with wife beaters. He could have been, kind of like saying it lightweight right there, but I guarantee, they show up to his house to have a talk about it off camera, things are probably going to go down a little different. A man's home is his castle, and none of us going to be disrespected in this truth, especially, by some snakes in the congregation that call themselves brothers. But anyways, I just wanted to sum this up. You can't pick and choose scriptures. You can't go to the Old Testament for law and demand tithes and disregard all the other laws and go by the New Testament. And to get this understanding, you have to just read on your own. And it'll come to you, because It is hid to them that are lost. And if this is meant to, come to you, then you'll gain that understanding. And with that, I'm just going to, close it with that. And this is your brother, Harv-n-Diana, and Lord willing, this is edifying. Shalom.